Hello everyone, welcome back to a modern Skyblock 3 and welcome back to the Gaming Droid channel and welcome back to Embers. So I found you can actually point to the cannon using your hammer. So if you set a block and then you hit the hammer, it points at the block. So that's actually quite useful. I've set this up, we've been feeding it, we've been doing some things. We made a lot of ash. We used the vacuum hopper, which you put down, put a lever on it and pull the lever down, and it makes a cone that's roughly like from here to about here in a cone shape, and it sucks in all the items in that area. So it's actually quite a good little vacuum hopper. We also needed some more dawnstone. But what I've decided to do is I've set up my recipe calculation chest. So these are the 5 different aspectus. Here's our alchemical dust. This is what I think I placed in on the first recipe. I don't remember off the top, or I don't remember perfectly. So this is a guess at what I placed in on the first thing, and then we've used the numbers 24, 6 and 13 to guess at the next recipe. So we need 48 on copper, 48 on copper. Then we need 44 on dawnstone and 13 on silver. Now this is a guess, but I think this is going to work because that is... I didn't go back and check the footage, I just sort of kind of guessed. So I'm guessing there is no... there does appear to be a direction. So this one, and then this, and this. Now, the way we've done it now, when we get the alchemical waste out, because I think I'm going to get this wrong, I can put it here. I know what I've put in, so I can do the calculations for what I need. And there we go. We got it right. So we actually managed to succeed there. So now we know what the recipe is for this. So I'm going to do this. So there we go. So this waste is now proper waste. It is no longer needed. And this is the recipe for the Ember Crystal Cluster. So you can see where I'm going with this. I'm basically making it so that I have a recipe library. So I don't have to worry about trying to remember the recipes. There is a use for this. It is making it back into ash piles using the stamp. Not importante. And we needed that to make the combustion chamber. I think we also need one for the Ignum reactor. The Ignum reactor requires a wildfire core, which requires another one of those. So we need to make another one of those, and then we need to try and get the recipe for the wildfire core, which is dawnstone, copper, and an ancient motive core. So let's make another. Let's make another couple of ember clusters, because we're going to need a few more ember clusters. And okay, so. Let's have a look at that recipe. So it's the silver and the iron aspectus core. So we want the silver aspectus core, and we can pop these out to place them back in the chest. And we need the iron aspectus core. So, and now it is an ancient motive core, a copper plate, dawnstone, ember crystal cluster, and it's 24 on the silver. So we know the silver is 24. That's easy enough. That's a guarantee. The other one is between 32 and 48. So let's start with 32, and that will tell us how many we need. Oop, no, this goes at the top. Okay, so we got alchemical waste, which we were expecting. So we were 15 off. So we had 32. So we did 24 on the silver. And we did 32 on the iron. And we were 15 off with the iron. So it's only possible to go up from there. So 15 would be 47. So 24 and 47 is the actual recipe. So we're going to need even more ash. So we're going to have to, like, I created, I think it was 8 stacks of ash. And we've literally been able to do 3 recipes with them. Okay, so you need a lot of ash. Luckily, you can burn anything, including just cobblestone. You can just burn cobblestone for it. So we'll have to do a lot of burning with that. But I do want to set up the Ignum reactor. Because this thing, once we make this, we'll be able to actually make the crystals much more easily. In the meantime, while this is cooking away... Actually, no, this is almost finished. Okay, so that definitely makes us a wildfire core. So that was 47. Which we can't do because we don't have enough. So... 47. Actually, that's not a bad idea. Because I have a lot more gunpowder than I have anything else. So let's just grab... Actually, I don't have a lot more gunpowder than I have anything else. I have a lot more of all sorts of things other than gunpowder. But... then we'll have our spare gunpowder up the centre. Just as our recipe inventions. So this is for the wildfire core. I will put a motive core there at the top. To let us know that, yep, that's what we're making. We're making one of the cores. So let's see what we need. The Ignum reactor needs the wildfire core, 2 silver plates, camnite and copper. That's not difficult. We just need to make the 2 silver plates, which we require our engineer's hammer, which should be in here somewhere. No, I think we may have destroyed our engineer's hammer. That's fine. We'll just make 2 silver plates like this. It's expensive, but it's fine. I have plenty of silver. So there's our Ignum reactor. Now when we combine the Ignum reactor with the combustion chamber and the catalyzing chamber, that's when we can start making crystals using the Ignum reactor. So the catalyzing chamber. Catalyzing chamber requires an ember crystal core, so that's not too difficult. We know the recipe for that. It is copper, silver, dawnstone, 48, 13, 44. There we go. So we have a much faster way of doing these recipes, and we have a way of recording our recipes in a kind of recipe book. I mean, I could write this all down on a notepad or do it down on a sign. This is a nice little visual representation of what we're doing. Just makes it easier for me. I'm a very visual person when it comes to things like this. I am a very visual learner. So this kind of imagery of it's almost like a comparative bar graph or a Excel sheet, basically. It's a visual Excel sheet. You can tell someone's exciting when they say that they've made a visual Excel sheet. So we're going to make a few more of the ember shards like manually anyway. There we go, we've made some more shards, that's fine. There's our crystal cluster. And start some more power generating. So this allows us to make our catalyzer, for which we need a plate. Let's go and make another engineering hammer quickly. So we need some lead plate, and we need some silver plates. So catalyzer. Catalyzer requires a machine casing. No, don't click on that bit. Click on that bit. Well done, droid. I am very bad with accuracy at the moment for some reason. I have no idea why. My brain is bad at the moment. There you go. So there's our catalyzer. And we'll have you detect that as well. And what we need to do is we need to attach this onto the top of this like that. And then what we need to do is we need to give the catalyst chamber a catalyst. But we also need to have the combustion chamber on the other side. It's not under transmutation. Where is it? Not augmented smithing. Where is the thing about the catalyzing chamber? Cinder plinth. Energetic alchemy. Ah, there it is, actually in here. So the Ignum reactor is a refinery for ember crystals. It's placed adjacent to the top parts of both the combustion and catalyst chamber. Both combustion and catalyst chamber are active. The reactor will refine crystalline ember with a multiplier equal to the number of the fuel level and catalyze level. Get the one. Catalyst chamber and combustion level must also be fairly close. So the catalyst chamber is a simple machine that does little on its own, simply using up a catalyst item. Each catalyst item has a particular catalyst level. Redstone 2, gunpowder 3, glowstone 4. Now there are other catalysts as well. And the combustion chamber does very little. So blaze powder has 4, so it would be glowstone and blaze powder, which aren't hard to get together. And then these together should allow us to basically refine ember crystals at a much, much better rate and get even more from them. So the next thing we need is the combustion chamber. Combustion chamber is another one of these ember crystals, which we'll make easily, and then just copper. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 1. Now, do we have to set up our cinder plinth? I think we do. Yes, we're definitely going to have to set our cinder plinth up again. So what I'll do is I will show you the setup of the cinder plinth that I did before, and then we will switch to just we'll skip forwards to when I've got plenty of cinder plinth or plenty of cinders. And you see, if I come over here and throw this over here, it just gets sucked straight in to the vacuum hopper. That's nice and easy to set up. Pop this here, and we give it a power source, which, as we're not refining Dawnstone anymore, can be this one. There we go. And then what I did after that was I used an item transfer pipe, but I think we can probably just go and grab a hopper, which will be just smaller and easier to use. I've almost certainly got hoppers in chests somewhere, but I'm lazy and it's easier to make one than go searching for one. And then we're just going to, as we can cook anything at all, as we can sort of craft anything at all, 6 into cinders, we're just going to use yeah, that works perfectly fine. The hopper is churning it in, and this is just cooking things down. Now, we could speed this up with a second cinder plinth, but what I'll do is I'll cut this here and we'll come back when we have plenty of ash. Hello everyone, welcome back. So I've made a second cinder plinth and they're both kind of cooking away there quite happily. So we're just going to get this on the go now. So we're going to turn that into there till the beam fires. There's no way to turn the beam on and off, unfortunately. The vacuum hopper is a suction hopper, so it will kind of get caught on platforms and caught on items and things. So occasionally I'm going to have to just cycle around and just pick up a little bit of it off the floor. But hopefully this should fire soon. We've thrown a little bit more in here, so that's got 61 ember shards in it at the moment. Come on, fire. Actually, no, maybe it does need a... Oh, it does need a lever. Ah, interesting. I didn't know that. I thought it didn't because it kept firing at one point. Maybe you have to hit it with a hammer to make it lever activated. We've also made a bunch of Dawnstone. We come over here. We should have made an absolute bunch of Dawnstone. We do have an absolute bunch of Dawnstone in there. And we needed to make something that required a lot of Dawnstone, which was the Ember Spread. The Spread Burster. Spread Burster. Requires an Ember Ejector. Requires an Ember Emitter. This is not the recipe I thought it was. There's something that requires like 2 blocks of 2 blocks of stone. And I can't remember what it is. 2 blocks of dawnstone. What is it that requires 2 blocks of dawnstone? It's not the alchemical recombulator, is it? Oh, it's the Inferno Forge. That's what it was. It's the Inferno Forge that requires it, and it also requires a wildfire core. Ah, so we're going to have to make quite a few. We're going to have to make quite a few of these to progress. But let's get the combustion chamber going. The combustion chamber is pretty simple. We just need to make a compass and then a mechanical core and then one of these. And now, if we just complete the quest, this is a way of getting even more from our ember shards. So what I can actually do now is grab the... Where's the stone brick? Ah, it's over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So what I can do now is I can actually put these back around here, because this is no longer going to be our source of ember. The other thing we need to do is we actually do want to create the spread burster, actually, because it'll actually make transmission easier. So we're actually going to create another one of those crystals first. That's going to be our first thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip forwards till we have another crystal, because we need lots and lots of wildfire crystals for whatever reason. And they're not... I don't know if you can automate them. I might take a risk and see if I strip all of these off. Can I make more than one? So let's try like making 3. So I make 3 gunpowder, 3 of you, 3 of you, 3 of you, and 3 of you. Now I'm hoping it doesn't need 3 times as much arcane ash, because that would be ridiculous. No, it only gave us 1 core, but it did leave the recipe in there. So actually that's not too bad. So we're going to need more of these. So let's... So the fuel is the blaze. Catalyst is the glowstone. And the Ignum reactor takes this. And that should be producing a lot more Ignum. So now we can make a spread burster, which we can attach to this. And the advantage with this thing, although it is slightly... Actually, no, it's about the same size, isn't it? The advantage with this thing is what we can do is we can use our hammer and go, okay, so you are powering, or you take power from this. You take power from this. And that sends power to 2 different things. And then we can go to you can take power from that. When you need power, which he doesn't need at the moment. There you go. So you see it's now this thing is sending power to all 3 of them. And it's doing it with a much better rate of return. Than our pressure refinery was. So that's good. So we can now like melt these things at a much more efficient rate. That gives us another wildfire core, which is excellent. To complete the spread burster, we need to do the ember funnel. Dang it! Detect. Thank you. You to you, you to you, and you to you. There we go. That's all of those rebound to things. Mildly frustrating though it was to have to do that. It wasn't the fault of the mod. So we need a funnel, which is this guy. So, and that's an Ember funnel. That allows you to attach multiple Ember sources to a single Ember receptor. It's basically an improved Ember receptor. It allows you to receive multiple as well instead of sending multiple. So the next thing we need to do is the Inferno Forge. And the Inferno Forge requires one of the wildfire cores. We need to make a wildfire core. That's the only thing we need, and that requires an ancient motive core, an ember crystal, 2 dawnstone, and a copper plate. And we should have copper plates somewhere. So you might have everything we need in... Nope. I know I made more copper plates than I needed, so 2 dawnstone. Where's our copper plates gone? I'm sure I had spare copper plates somewhere. Ah well, we'll make another copper plate. So one of these, 2 of these, 1 of these, and 1 of those. And we can... Actually, I'm going to finish off those anyway, because we might as well. So, 48, 13, and then we need a bit more. That's fine, because we've got the ash being brought in. So. 48, 13, 44. 48, 13, 44. Now. And this should stop burning up ember shards when it doesn't need them anymore, which is good. Everything seems to like auto-stop reasonably efficiently. So what I'll do is I'll skip ahead. I've already made one of these cores, as you've seen. We know how to make the cores. So I'll skip ahead till we've got our core and we can make the Inferno Forge. Okay, so we've got the Wildfire core and we're going to come back and make the Inferno Forge. Now the Inferno Forge, whoa, is very, very cool. I will admit, the Inferno Forge is very, very cool. The Inferno Forge is a single block that becomes a multi-block structure, and what it does is it allows us to add ancient motive cores to tools. It also allows us to add other modifiers to tools. Oh no, the Dawnstone Anvil allows us to add ancient motive cores, and then this allows us to add the other modifiers. There are a bunch of other modifiers. Some of them, well, most of them I don't think are particularly useful on a Skyblock. But I suppose I'll show you a few of the modifiers. I think this would be a lot more augmented smithing. This would be a lot more useful in a normal world. The superheater allows us to basically auto-cook things. It allows us swords and tools to cook ores, meat, things like that when you've smashed stuff. The Cinderjet allows you to do a dash. The blasting core basically allows you to cause explosions, breaking nearby blocks. So it basically makes a tool an AoE tool. The Ember Launcher launches orbs of Ember. The Flame Barrier, as you can imagine, is an augment for armor that then basically does fire damage around you. The Eldritch Mark's quite interesting. The Eldritch Mark makes hostile mobs afraid of you, and the higher the level the Eldritch insignia you impose on something, the higher level mobs that are afraid of you. So I'm guessing if you like max that out, you could probably scare off wither skeletons and things like that. The Intelligent Apparatus just increases experience drop, so it's the Insight orb, and the Resonating Bell. This is the interesting one if you're in a generated world rather than a Skyblock. By right-clicking on a block, nearby blocks of that type will illuminate with glowing light unless the block is already a very significant part of a nearby material. The area of resonating effect increases with the modifier level, so it makes ores that you want glow. So that's the Inferno core. The last thing we have left to make is the Recombulator. The Recombulator requires a recipe, it requires a lead aspectus. So this is all pretty simple: lead, glass, an archaic circuit, which is very easy to make. We just pop some archaic brick and some cobblestone. The lead aspectus we have spare of. So 1 ingot actually makes 2, even though the recipe for aspectus says it only makes 1. 2 of those. And then we need a piece of glass, which we can go and grab quickly. Okay, so we failed that recipe as we kind of expected we would. So let's have a look. It was lead 22, copper 15. So we are back. We just need to pop all of our devices in. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then let's have a look at what we got wrong. Copper was 15, so we put in 16, so we need it to be 31. And lead was 22, we put in 32, so we need to be 54. So 31 and 54. 31 and there we go, we've got the catalyzer. I was just looking at the recipes that you can get with this thing, and some of the stuff seems quite interesting. The flame barrier and the intelligence apparatus, these are all the things for machines, for weapons and armor. We can also make ourselves ancient motive cores, which we don't need to do, or archaic bricks, which we don't need to do. But the other thing we can make, well, we can make special kinds of sword, we can make soul sand, we can make netherrack. The netherrack recipe is quite interesting. We can make adhesives, we can make isolated materia, but the thing that really was interesting to me was these. We can make seeds. Now, we need the seeds for making extreme crafting tables, but the other thing is we can plant those seeds, can't we? Metal crystals, the seeds of the world. You've discovered a means of synthesizing metal crystal seeds for various metal types through alchemy, as well as Ember Injector. A machine designed to control them. By placing crystal seed in the world, then placing ember injectors facing it and powering them with ember, the seed will begin to be fed and grow slowly. At a certain threshold, the seed will let loose several metal nuggets which can be collected. Okay, so it's a way of turning ember into metal. I have easier ways of making metal, but it's a very interesting idea. So this thing, the alchemical recombulator. Ah, okay, so I just went and had a quick little look. Apparently I've got this in the wrong place. Apparently this should be here. Ah, I see. So turn that off so it can't keep doing that. So let's have a look. We were 1 off with silver and 2 off with dawnstone. So we need to do 17 with silver and 18 with dawnstone. That's not terrible. So 17 with silver and 18 with dawnstone. There we go, we have liquid antimony. Awesome. So what did this want us to create? This wanted us to make a signet of antimony. So what do we need for a signet of antimony? We need the stamping press with the bar stamp and an ember shard. Okay, that's fine. So we've got 4 signets of antimony and we're generating some... Okay, that's fine. Oh, that's still got... not enough to make ingots. That's fine. God, this pickaxe is so strong. Pickaxe plus haste, very dangerous. So there we go. That is our signet of antimony as well. So now I think we're pretty much kind of done, really. Let's make sure it detects the signet of antimony. There we go. And apparently we can use the signets of antimony as a trading ingredient with trading villagers. Not really necessary considering that we've already completed pretty much all of, well, because we've got an endless supply of the emeralds, thanks to the shipping bin and a simple farming mechanism. So let's put all of this in here. We'll keep the glowstone for ourselves. So I might look into using embers to make a few things later on. Specifically, one of the things I really do want to look into embers for is the emberstone, the dawnstone anvil, and powering the dawnstone anvil. So we're going to have a look at what we can do to make cheap, easy power with embers and power the Dawnstone Anvil, because we've got a cell that we can use, and the cell can be used to store energy. The other interesting thing we can have a look at in Embers, now that we've completed the Embers quest, we have access to extra thermal utilities. Again, it requires you to do something. It's like I have access to it, but I can't complete it because it's 0 tasks. So again, I'm going to go into quests, edit, quest book, designer, manual complete, thermal expansion. Done. So there we go. That will give me access to the thermal expansion quests and all of the items from thermal expansion. Actually, no, it won't. Edit, quest book, designer, reset this quest, and then manually complete it like that. And then if I go into here and claim, that gives me access to the items from thermal expansion. But we have now unlocked thermal machinery, which is great because we can come in here and we can drop it off. I do need to start actually completing some of these and actually adding the trophies in, because there are plenty of them that I could just go back and complete. I might do a stream of me completing them, because there are some of these, like the factory tech one, the better storage one, especially now I've got access to as many diamonds as I need once I set up my automated Dawnstone hammer. Some true magic I could almost certainly complete once I get to the end and do ivory. This one I can definitely complete. All the quests are already available. This one I could actually complete that. I just need to complete these quests. They're not difficult. The close quest I've already completed. It just hasn't detected it. Redstone wiring. Mixing it up to make liquid concrete. Not difficult. Better steel production. I just need to make the blast furnace preheaters. I've already got the reinforced blast brick. The biodiesel. Not difficult. And the windmill sails, not difficult. So this could be completed easily. This isn't so easy. We need some stuff that we don't have access to yet. But next up, I want to start working through Power of the Stars so we can access extra utilities. But for now, we have access to thermal machinery, which gives us access to a power cell, dynamos, crafting with fluids. And what I want to look at is I want to look at the diorite, because it's the igneous extruder from thermal expansion. So we now have machine frames, glass, invar, copper, and redstone core. We can make this pretty much immediately. I don't know if we've made any invar yet, but we could make this pretty much immediately. Tin gear, iron, glass, that's not a problem at all. And the invar we might have. Let's see if we can actually just throw one together like instantaneously. And again, nickel is super cheap and easy to get hold of. Invar is going to be perfectly fine. Does this give us access to flux ducts? It does. We now actually have access to flux ducts. So we can actually start piping power without using the blinking cables. That's excellent. We can now start thinking about sort of like setting up things to pipe power using flux ducts. So I think the next episode is probably going to be a large amount of thermal expansion, getting flux ducts in and things like that. So now this thing is new because we can actually cycle through what we want. Cobblestone, stone, obsidian, granite, diorite. There we go. And the question is, are you going to use up the lava, or are you going to be like stone? If you're like cobblestone, which doesn't use the lava, then this is going to be amazing. A bucket of this, and we need to go and take it to somewhere where we can give it power and give it a bucket of water, which is fine because over here we can literally just stick it on that for now and it should get power, which it does. And we can go bucket of, nope. Luckily there's no light sources because I'm using feral flare lanterns. So it uses up the water, and it does use up... Ah, no, that was with basalt. I want you to be on diorite to do Project with the Stars. It does use up water, but it doesn't use up the lava. So what we need to do is we need to plummet in to receive water, and then it will just start making diorite for us forever. So I think with that nice little actual... It's working the way... It's working the way it should work thing. This is working exactly the way it should work. So I think with that, what I will probably do is I will probably call it there. Because we are now making diorite for free, just using a little bit of power. So that means that in the next episode, we will be ready to take our diorite, craft it into smooth diorite, go up to our power room, throw it in front of this thing, hit the beam, no, take that off, hit the beam, and turn it into marble. So from now on, we will have no problems getting marble. We don't have to go through mana generating or anything like that. We can literally just create as much diorite as we want, and that means we can start working on astral sorcery in a big way. But we also have access to flux ducts. So, thank you all for watching. I've been the Gaming Droid. This has been 2 episodes to complete the entire of Embers, and we now have the things we want, which is a Dawnstone Anvil and an Auto Hammer. And we're going to be using the Dawnstone Anvil and the Auto Hammer to craft up a lot of diamonds later on. But thank you all for watching. I've been the Gaming Droid. This has been Modern Skyblock 4. Modern Skyblock 3, not Modern Skyblock 4. I wish it was Modern Skyblock 4. EmosewaPixel, get on it. And I will see you all in the next episode. Goodbye, everybody.